There you go.
Okay, got it. We'll call the meeting to order. And we will take comments from citizens present. It doesn't appear there's anyone on the call or on the Zoom meeting, so we will go on to the approval of the August 10th meeting minutes.
I will move approval.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
There's Matt checking in here.
Okay. Saved us from ourselves. Okay, good.
Right.
Okay, under license and permits. Number one, application for an outdoor amplified sound permit by Mary Beth Haunty for Inspiring Hope Ministries, a commercial enterprise at 7425 University Avenue for sound system band and announcements, 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. October 7th, 2021 for the grand opening.
Yeah, and this one just came in. It's there's nothing particularly special about it. It's just a commercial establishment. So it needs, or commercial enterprise is the way it's defined. So it just needs LNO approval. No issues from the PD standpoint.
I'll move approval if there's no issue.
And I'll second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Number two, application for an outdoor amplified sound permit for Andwing for Robertson's Cosmetic Center, commercial enterprise, 8391 Greenway Boulevard, Suite 200 for a sound system in the parking lot, 3 p.m. to 6:30 on September 30th, 2021 for the Best of Both Bash.
Yeah, and the same thing here, commercial enterprise. It is going to be in their parking lot. I've been working with Angie Wang, and they have permission from the owner of the building. They're going to take a portion of the parking lot. It's just a customer appreciation. I think that's a Thursday, so no issues from the police department standpoint there either.
Okay, I'd move approval.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Number three, an application to transfer the retail license for Compadres Mexican Restaurant from 1900 Cayuga Street, Unit 105 to 1914 Aurora Street, Manuel Gonzalez Trejo, applicant.
And this is just in, they're just transferring their license from their current location to what is the old Hody restaurant is their plan. So we haven't had any issues with them, and no issues with the applicant.
I'll move approval. I'm kind of
And I'll
excited
second.
about the move.
Yeah.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Number four, review of an application to amend the director for the alcohol beverage license held by Kelly Williamson Company doing business as Kelly's Markets, 8613 University Green, to appoint Robert Lindeman, Evanston, Illinois, as director.
So this came along with an email. It said that the prior director had passed away, so they were replacing him. Again, no issues with the background check or anything, so no issues from the police department standpoint with him.
I move approval.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Number five, application for a sidewalk cafe permit by the Tasting Room of Monona Incorporated doing business as Tasting Room Lounge, 1650 Deming Way, Suite 108, Jason Smith, Monona, Wisconsin, President.
And I know, Matt, I don't know if any of the other issues as far as a cigar license are probably not relevant here, right?
No, not directly
Okay.
anyway.
So there's some discussions about that, but that's outside of this discussion. So just of note is that this has to be approved by the Plan Commission, which would be after this meeting, of course. So any approval would be contingent upon satisfaction of the Plan Commission. Any approval from LNO.
That's why we got all the pictures.
And they
Yeah.
want to be able to just have alcohol and cigars.
You know, I did invite him. Granted, it was on, I think, Monday morning. I might have sent it to him, asking or inviting him to participate. I don't know the answer to that. I suspect, yes. I mean, it was, see, I can't remember if he wanted alcohol out there, but I strongly suspect if they're gonna have outdoor seating that they would.
Yeah.
want it. Let's see. See if I can find that email quick.
So then do we just say, move approval as long as planning,
Contingent on
planning committee?
contingent on plan commission approval.
That's my motion.
Okay, I'll second that.
Any further discussion? Is this open now? Does anyone know?
I don't believe so.
Is this in that the place that was Fuji? I can't, I'm so mixed up with the directions on here, and it
Yeah,
doesn't
no.
really matter where it is, but
I think it's actually further north of there. I don't believe it is the Fuji building. I'm trying to, problem there is that they have suite numbers, so the share
Okay,
addresses.
yeah.
Yeah.
okay. Well, it's not that. I was just trying to wrap my head around it. If it's like,
Yes, 1650, I think, is one of those, like, actually right along a Deming Way. I know Fuji technically does way on the south end, but I think it's a little bit.
okay, it's closer north. Okay, all right. We have a motion and a second. And any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Oh, motion carries. Okay.
Cool design.
What's that?
Yeah,
It's a cool design.
it's a real
Yeah.
cool design.
Okay. The next two items, 6 and 7, are related, so we can take those together, albeit two different events. Number 6, application for special event permit by the Middleton High School, Jamie Sims, contact person for fireworks at the homecoming football game on October 8th, 2021 at Brighton Box Stadium. Number 7, application for a special event permit by Middleton High School, Jamie Sims, contact person for the homecoming spirit night and parade with fireworks on October 6th, 2021
Wow.
at Middleton High School.
Julie, I don't know if you want to, oh, you're muted, Julie.
Thank you, Jeremy.
You bet. We've all been there.
Yes,
Yeah, we have,
I'm having that kind of night. I told the Tourism Commission, I'm so over Zoom and so ready for in-person meetings. I'm technologically challenged to begin with, so I appreciate your indulgence. This is an event that has been held in the past 12 years, took a pause in 2020, and they're coming back in 2021 with a parade in addition to a rally at the high school. We have an approved parade route by Public Works, and Jeremy has a security plan in place for the parade route. The police will be involved as far as directing traffic and moving people about in a safe way. They will have concessions at the event that are managed by the student council members, and they have the necessary permits in place for that. They had originally indicated they would have food carts, but have chosen not to do so with this one. The SCP permit fees have been paid. The certificate of insurance is in the works. And I think the only other thing that's outstanding on this then is the fireworks application and the circumstances surrounding the fireworks.
And
They do have a communication plan in place for this. Historically, they've told me that they reach out to residents a couple of weeks prior to the event. They have students distribute a letter that explains what will be happening and the timing on both the spirit rally and the homecoming football game, which is in the following 2 days. As far as the football game itself, again, they have concessions there managed by the Booster Club, permits in place for that. They will have a mobile food cart, Kona Ice, which has an annual license with us. Certificate of insurance on the way. The fees have been paid for the SDP. And again, this fireworks display was bundled in with the Spirit Night. The thing that makes this unique is that the fire department actually is the agent that is doing the fireworks. And I know Jeremy, the chief had sent us an email with, I believe, a plan of some sort.
Yes, I can try and share that. Chief
I'll,
Harris did.
I'll
literally-
defer to you at this point if you know any
Yeah.
more than I do on it.
Chief Harris literally sent an email 3 minutes ago saying that he was going to hop on here. I sent him the link and said if you could join sooner than later, that would be great. He's obviously not here yet, but I will try and share my screen.
Am I understanding they want fireworks twice? Am I reading that
Yes.
right?
That's what I
Yes.
read.
Have they done that in the past? That's new, isn't it? To have it,
2019, I think they did the same thing.
They did.
they did.
Everything we had in our file, Dan, indicated that this is the modus operandi.
okay, I
And I
couldn't
went-
remember, so.
Yeah, I went back to 2016.
And
Okay.
the fireworks for the actual football game are just in conjunction with the national anthem, so it's not.
Okay.
I think that's the case for both of them, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What does
so-
that mean? It's a
pretty
really
short.
short little thing?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
there's.
very short.
All right.
Yeah,
Is
there's.
there
In
any,
one of his emails, the chief, who it looks like he's coming on now, said it requires one match.
Okay.
Chief
I'm
Harris,
kind of
you're
curious to
here?
see what it is.
Chief, you're here? There he is.
Yes, I am.
All right. I'm just about to share your email. Stop right before your driver's license shows up, hopefully. Hold on. Gotta be smarter than the equipment. Therein lies the problem.
And while you're pulling that up, I want to apologize. There was some confusion. I had met with Lori asking if we needed to complete anything and stated that we're the ones who would be reviewing this information. I didn't realize that License and Ordinance actually reviews the pyrotechnic devices, seeing that we do that. But so anyways, that's why I'm late in providing that to you.
Yeah, and I would just also add that by ordinance, the chief of police has to also give his approval, and he has no issues with that. It's not signed off on the actual application in the packet here, but he has given his approval as well. So I don't know if you want to, can you guys see that now, the screen with the
Yeah.
email here? Okay.
Yes.
So tell me when you want me to move, Aaron, and I'll,
Sure, I can just give you a brief overview of what they've
Sure.
done in the past. Or we're basically, we fire our own event when we have our block party. We have pyrotechnicians on the department, and obviously I'm the individual as the agent of the state of Wisconsin to oversee and inspect displays when they take place in our fire district. In this situation, the school district years past have requested that we do some type of fireworks display at the end of the national anthem for both the Spirit Night and prior to the football game on Friday night of the week of homecoming. So this is literally one device that is at the end of the national anthem that's fired off, and it's less than 1 minute. It generally takes between 30 and 40 seconds to go off. So it's literally we light it with a torch at the safe required distance from the crowd. It is not a fireworks display like you would think of the 4th of July at that length. It is simply a finale to the national anthem, both nights. So the items that we're showing are what's listed 1 through 9 that the fire district can provide. And that is simply the device layout. It's laid out at the end of the football field in a water retention area. So it's actually got a bunker. Overkill for this type of device, but it's nice to have there. You can continue down. We show the distance to neighbors. I think one thing that's important to note here, I think we've measured this off in the past. I think there are 5 homes that are just on the tail end of the 1,000 feet radius. So that measurement is in there as well. There's homes, 3 homes to the north, and I think a few to the south of the firing area that fall within maybe 30 or 40 feet of the 1,000-foot distance. We have a fallout perimeter. It's very small. Again, this device, these type of Class B fireworks are small in nature. Again, it's not something like you would see during a normal 4th of July event where the devices would be going up, hundreds of feet. This is just over the tree line display. So it's meant for close distance viewing, not for long distance viewing like most people are accustomed to. So the fallout perimeter is included in there. Mortar configuration and specification, list of all fireworks used for the display, location to the spectators. The storage of the fireworks is at the fire district. So we manage and control that device, keep it in our possession, pick it up the day of the event and fire it off and dispose of it after the event. So any questions that you have for me?
I have one. We've been chatting about fireworks in the past at L&O, and I don't know if it's already happened. We've sort of talked about amending our application for fireworks, and we're recommending that if possible, people look into the low volume or no volume fireworks as a means of showing respect to veterans with PTSD and also to animals in the neighborhood. Now I realize this is a really short gig, but I'm also thinking of the high schoolers as young and innovative and maybe wanting to be the first to try something. And I'm just wondering if that's a possibility.
I don't know a lot about the low noise. We can definitely look into it. I don't have a problem with that whatsoever. As a matter of fact, we removed, in years past, we used larger, what are called salutes. They're very loud bangs, and we removed those for that reason. I saw it is in your ordinance that a consideration should be given.
Right.
And if they have a finale cake that meets that shorter time frame, I don't see a problem with trying to utilize that device.
I think that would be awesome. And I think it would be sort of cool to tell the students how progressive and innovative they're being.
I cannot make a promise on that because I don't know who carries them and so on, but definitely we'll look into that. And it's more of a visual thing anyways.
Yeah, absolutely.
At the end, and they should be listening to the national anthem as they're firing off. So I'm all for it.
Cool. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any other questions.
Neither do I. I would move approval for both special event permit for the Spirit Night and Parade and for the fireworks of the game.
I will second. Kathy, you're muted.
Now I forgot what I said. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion 6 and 7 carry. Okay, on to
Thanks, everybody.
ordinances.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Ordinances, number 1, an ordinance to increase Class A alcohol quota.
Matt, you gonna take this one?
Yeah, I'm trying to, I drafted this.
It was a while ago.
And I was, had trouble logging on, so I didn't get to refresh my recollection. basically this came at Lori's request. That we're just, I can't remember if we're just bumping up against the quota or we're getting full.
I had printed off the email that she sent to both of us. She was looking, and I'd have to see how you wrote it, but she was looking to maybe go up to 15. Her reasoning behind this was all the new apartments that are going up that have storefronts. A lot of them are trying to get Class A licenses to sell alcohol. Yeah, that was basically it, is that she wanted the option to offer that to more businesses.
And I can't remember if we are at quota or just very close.
Doesn't say in her email. I'm assuming that is because we were getting close.
Yeah, but at any event, I mean, this has been a number of years now, and I mean, even the Class B quotas that are imposed by statute, you get more licenses when population grows. And
This doesn't have to do with the new census data?
no, this quota is totally a creature of our own making. We don't even have to
Okay.
have a quota. My recollection is correct, this was proposed some years back, I think, when grocery stores and so forth started first selling alcohol, and I think there was just a concern that there was going to be a lot of them, and didn't want to cut back. I mean, we certainly aren't unusual in having one, but certainly not everybody does. It's just a policy choice that we have made. But certainly since we enacted this, there's been quite a bit more development. And like Jeremy says, we've got apartments and mixed use development going on. And if you've got little stores and retail places that would benefit from this, it would be problematic if we're at the quota and can't issue them. So this was just basically add the ability to do 3 more licenses.
Okay, I would move approval of that. Recommend a council approval.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Miscellaneous, number 1, discussion of future events by Capital Flight at Maury Airport.
And I don't see Matt Holfeld on here. He is the one who called. So he was asking me about the potential for getting some kind of amp sound permit similar to what perhaps Capital Brewery has, or Kiva, where it would cover a period of time and he'd be able to have events. Given that he's not here, I don't know how much you want to discuss it. He basically what he's saying, he wants to be able to have more. He wants to have more events there, but perhaps not have these bigger events, smaller events where he can play amp sound on shorter notice without having to come to L&O to get that approval.
The difference I see with Capital Brewery and Kiva is those are private businesses, and Maury Airport is owned by the city, just like a park. We wouldn't necessarily issue a permit for somebody to have events in parks whenever. I mean, I think that we each time something happens in a park or at a city facility, that we would ask for permitting at that time.
And I don't know, and I'm not here to take one side or the other. I think Matt might be able to specify or perhaps describe this better. He does have a lease agreement for that hangar on city property. I suspect he's talking about having music sound come from his hangar and exit his property.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a distinction. mean, I guess I would recommend you that to withhold judgment until you kind of hear what he wants to do. I mean, certainly the area he leases, while, the city it's city-owned property, it's just like any other lease. He's got exclusive possession of that. And, the other thing that would distinguish this from a park, I mean, certainly the type of use, certainly going to be less disturbance, I would imagine, at least from the music itself. I mean, if you've got planes and those kind of things, and there usually aren't people sitting and enjoying the peace, quiet, and serenity of the airport.
No.
Maybe Cynthia Richardson is. But
Yeah, it depends on who you're at.
but I guess just like anything, because it's the airport and a very special use there. I mean, I definitely think we'd want to ultimately hear from the airport
Right.
commission. How does it feel about events and that frequency? Does it interfere at all with operations? I wouldn't suspect so, but that's why we
Maybe
have
the way we should handle this, then is if Matt wants to take it to the airport commission, they should weigh in on it first. And then if they're good with it, then it can come to us.
Yeah, I have a question for Jeremy. Did anybody have any issues with either of the two events that were held there over the summer?
There were, I think we got one complaint about a low flying plane that came to our police department. And I think there were 2 complaints that day. And this is for the first event, the air show.
Rock the Ramp?
Yes, the Rock the Ramp. And then 2 calls, in my understanding, went to the Dane County Communication Center, and that could be for various reasons. It could be they were from the township and they called from landline, or the cell tower it bounced off of went to the Dane County Communication Center. I had contact with Mark Opitz afterwards. He said it sounded like there was a handful of complaints about planes after the fact, although the way he described it is that it appeared that they were from the same person, or the majority of them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But there weren't any like sound, too loud with the band or anything?
No, there was not. And I touched base with the supervisor who was working that night. He said everything specifically for Rock the Ramp, we didn't really have an impact from the car show or the fly-in car show, because that was during the day. And I did drive by it. It was the same day as our Battle of the Badges, and it was well attended. They had some neat cars there just driving by. But what I was told by the supervisor who was working the night of Rock the Ramp is that it was incredibly well organized, because he was part of a briefing for the air show. They did I think it was the FAA had actually come in and told them the fire department had to do a mock response, and it had to be within a certain amount of time. And they had a guy that was organizing it that was very squared away and made sure everything was going as planned for the air show end of things. And he said there were no issues with the other aspects, the noise, the band, or the alcohol service.
Cool. Well, that's good to hear. Yeah.
I think I recall that this was already at the airport commission earlier this year.
Was it?
Yeah.
For a blanket permit?
Yeah, I was just trying to find it.
I think it was something along the lines of, we approve any future events for this year. It was a more generic, it wasn't specifically addressing future events and noise from my recollection.
Let me see.
And while Kathy looks, I'll just ask this question for Dan and Jeremy. At a certain point, there seems to be like a level of understanding with some of these events where it's like, yeah, this has been an easy one in the past. And it seems like we've been able to streamline some stuff for people. And if it seems like these events, and I want to make it clear, I have no personal stake in this airport or of these events, but it is my kind of goal to have the people of Middleton kind of embrace their airport. And if there's a way we can sort of make it less onerous every time there's an event, I guess I'd be for that. I mean, I don't want to have anyone skip steps they shouldn't skip, but
Sure.
You know, like-
overall, we want to be yeah, for good events that support things that we're in favor of. Try to be as easy as we can, consistent with protecting public's interest.
Managers.
Yeah, fair, good.
I still think it would be a good idea at a minimum to hear from Matt.
Yes,
So
I
maybe,
agree.
maybe the thing to do would be defer any further discussion of this until he can attend a meeting so we can get a rundown. I'm not opposed to this
Right.
necessarily, but I'd like to hear from Matt what, what he's got in mind.
Sure.
And I can touch base with him. I'll shoot him an email and say,
Okay.
if you want this on the next agenda, we can discuss it further, but they.
Yeah, we'd be happy to, I think we're all, would be happy and
Right.
willing to talk about it.
Yeah.
This was at the March 4th Airport Commission potential abbreviated airport event approval process. Was what the Capital Flight was requesting, and it's the same thing as what we're looking at here, I think.
But I think where that's worked for us in the past is we, like with Capital Brewery, they've got, a few different types of events with certain parameters, and we know what those are, and they, we've created some little boxes, and they have events that fit into those boxes. And if, Matt can sort of explain to us
What
what
his
kind of
boxes are.
variety of things that he's looking at with an eye towards the things that we are usually regulating in these, what the crowd size, all the conditions that we have in there. Perhaps using Capital Brewery as a template, because, that's really where all of this started, particularly with the noise, and then going on to their kind of expanded premises. We started to get a lot of complaints and having a lot of trouble reviewing things. We found a few things that worked and sort of standardized it, and compared to what it used to be years and years ago, it's really worked out well.
So-
Yeah, I would think it would be just in his benefit too, to come up with a couple formulas for a couple different types of events that he wants. It'll make everything simpler for him in the future too. And then we'll have an understanding of what he wants.
So he leases a hangar, is that correct? Or he's got his business, but he leases a hangar, which is, I don't know how many hangars are there, but everyone actually leases their own hangars, correct?
Right.
And how would that, I'm hoping that his would be a unique or some way that we could, I don't want everybody who leases a hangar to start having events there.
One of the unique things about his hangar, and I don't know if you know exactly where it is, so it's further on, the east end of the property. So it's not one of the hangars that's down, I guess, by all the other hangars. This is a standalone hangar. It's a rather
It's
large
not in a
one.
row with the other ones.
Right.
Okay,
So
well,
it's-
just so it's something that I want to make sure that it's, that I don't know how many hangars are there, that everyone doesn't start wanting to have that.
People do have parties at their hangars.
Right. And you don't need any permit to have a private
Yeah.
Okay,
event at your hangar. It's
But if you need a sound permit, then they'd have to come here.
right. Exactly.
And Kathy, I looked at, it's actually from the July meeting. I had a summary sheet in there. I think that's the one you're referring to. So on the airport commission, which was on July 1st.
that was for the 2 events that they had there this year.
But they also then talked about, because it says the events, LNO committee members are seeking input on how Rock the Ramp and cruise in events will impact airport and city operations. This will apply to future pancake breakfast, fly-in, drive-in events as well. And the motion was to recommend approval of the special events permits as proposed by the applicant, subject to all FAA and city approvals.
Right. Which was, but this is what he asked for at the March. That was just for those events. And so, anyway, do we have a motion to defer this until Matt is able to attend?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Potential future events and agenda items. Do we usually have this on here?
I don't see that on my agenda.
Am I looking at an old one? Oh, I'm looking at the airport agenda one.
I was gonna say, I don't see that. I don't remember putting it on there either.
I just made that on now. Okay. Yeah, that was the other agenda item. Okay, motion to adjourn, anyone?
So moved.
Second,
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
quick and painless tonight.
Yeah, there you go. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks,
Right.
guys. Have a great night.
Night.
Kathy, did you want to?
Yeah, if you got just one second, Matt, I wouldn't want it to go over a few things, so.
Let me make sure I'm